What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Relaxing Thoughts Podcast. I am your host, Institute Relaxation, and we are back again with another episode. And not just any episode. This one will actually be kind of special. I'll get into that in a minute. But first, as always, do you guys like this podcast? Please be sure to share it. Share the love. Let everybody else know about this, man. Don't be hoarding my voice to yourselves. Share it. Rate podcast 5 stars on Apple if you got that or not. I don't know. Nope. Nah. But but guess spoiler alert before I get into it. This episode is actually, well, technically this episode, but this episode is gonna be the 1 year anniversary of the Relaxing Thoughts Podcast. Actually, the day after I upload this, Thursday, will be 1 year exactly, but since I release on Wednesday, just got to make up for it. But yeah, 1 year podcasting, not including my previous podcast I started before this one. So yeah, been a lot of talking, but it's good though. I'm enjoying this. But I'll get into that later. So before I do all that, as always, what I've been up to lately, it feel like one of those, I think I did this, I don't know what episode it was. It was an episode a while ago where it felt like I've been away longer than I thought I have. Like, it's probably still just been 2 weeks, but I've just been going through some changes in my life that just feels like I've been away from this for a while. But yeah, I don't know. But it's good to be back, I guess, in a sense. So it's good to do these episodes. But yeah, what I've been up to, I didn't talk about it the last episode because the last episode of that show was the day I uploaded my podcast, so I couldn't speak on the whole thing. I couldn't talk about it. But now that the season is over, I guess spoiler alerts. I do not know how far I'm actually going to go into this. I'm just going to talk about it. But the Marvel's What If series, the last episode was last week, and yeah, at first when the first episode watching it, I was enjoying it. I felt like they could have. I think it's like Marvel just doing their formula, but I guess in a bad way this time, kind of. Like, they could have did a whole bunch of what ifs just to make a fun story, but they was doing a whole what if cinematic universe where every episode actually mattered, which was dumb, but whatever. It would have been nice if they did actually more interesting what if topics, but yeah, I'll get into that. But yeah, when I watched the first episode, I was enjoying it. It made me feel like now I want to watch the entire MCU animated because they can do more than relying on CGI. Like, they can actually just animate the actual action and make the characters actually do the things that they like more capable of doing from the comics, instead of like, it's a real person doing it. It's only so much Captain America can do, like being a superhuman or a super soldier, but it's like sometimes his feats feel like it's not that impressive compared to another person. Like, what movie? The second movie, when he had that little one-on-one fight on the ship, and it was like, yeah, just because he was nice at martial arts or whatever, he still shouldn't be giving Cap any kind of competition. Like, one good blow from Cap and the fight should be over. But yeah, whatever. Definitely the weakest episode was the zombie one. It made no sense. I didn't care for it. It was boring. Like I said, it was a what if that didn't need to happen, and it was probably the only what if that didn't matter in the whole grand scheme of the whole universe setup thing. So yeah. But of course, like I said, they did like a whole little cinematic universe thing. So like every episode, like the major characters from each episode of the What If all came together to stop the ultimate big bad guy and form like a what if universal Avenger team type thing. All I gotta say is my boy Doctor Strange, well, Doctor Strange Supreme, he the GOAT. Yeah, I mean, I've been hyping for Doctor Strange for a minute, like ever since his film came out. But like to see it, like I said, like some things that you could see in the comics that they can only do so much with CGI. Like, bruh, like the things he was doing, like dope. Like he was literally carrying that whole entire team. Like even Ultron was like, yeah, if I just get rid of you, then all of this would just be simple. But nope, boy, hold it down. No, there's been a lot of memes I've been seeing. Like the team at 100%, they show a picture of the whole team. Then they say the team at 99%, they just show Doctor Strange by himself. Like, this man did everything. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the what if is cool. And like, in theory, like just seeing everything dope, animated and whatnot, look, it's good. But if they just stop doing the universe stuff, like everything has to be connected, it has to build up to something, it'll be better. Like, just do something more interesting. Like, you could literally did a what if for like almost every movie that came out, but nah. Yeah, whatever. But also going into that, Wu-Tang, the American Saga season 2, I believe on episode 8, 9, I don't know, I think 8, I want to say. But it's like every episode, bro, like the show just gets better and better. Like, I just love it. It makes you feel like it's weird. Like, it makes you feel like a proud person when you watch this journey. Like, yeah, like they finally doing this and they finally achieving this goal and whatnot. And like, this is all history. Like, they already done this, but it's just like, I don't know, it just hits you. Like, it's just very well done. It's like very well made. Like, it impacts you, even though like this is history, this is stuff that we grew up on, that most people grew up on, and like we know the story, but to actually see it unfold again is dope. So this episode that came out was about having their first performance at the finally getting this song out. They had their first performance, and there was just a lot of whole chaos behind it. Like, they didn't really have nowhere to book, but they was like fronting so they could seem like they had a spot, just so the labels can check them out and whatnot. But it all ends up working out in the end. They go to this club, like everyone, because Staten Island is usually like the borough that's looked down. Like some people from New York even consider Staten Island the borough. Like, they just like completely exit out. But they came in, and once that particular night came on, that was it. They had the whole crowd hooked, and that was it. I mean, that was literally the whole show, just them performing. They actually did like show the whole performance. Like, you could see them rapping it word for word, see their character, like their mannerisms, how they do the character as well, and whatnot. It's dope, definitely dope. There's actually a clip on YouTube from that episode that you can actually see, so you can like reference it, like scene by scene. Like, there's a scene where Old Dirty Bastard does like a little monologue speech before they did the song, and like that's what happened in real life. You can actually see that video on YouTube in real life. But yeah, it's dope. But yeah, just looking forward to that. I don't want it to end, because now it's like I said, I don't know how this show is supposed. I don't know the end goal of the show. Like I said, in theory, this show can end this season, but we don't know what's the ultimate goal with this story. So if we had to wait for another season, it's gonna be another wait. I ain't in the mood to wait, but it is what it is. Other than that, going into my little anime bag. Actually, I picked up reading a manga called Aku no Hana, translates to The Flowers of Evil, and I kind of got hooked into that one. It was one of those that was so good that I watched all the adaptations of it. I read it first, and then I watched the anime, and then I watched the live action film. I would personally say the anime is the weakest one of them all, because obviously they only went so far in the anime, so they couldn't show everything, and there's no continuation. So I wouldn't even recommend the anime to anyone, honestly. If you want to literally like see the whole story unfold, just read it or watch the live action, but I recommend reading it, of course. But yeah, this one even hits me so much I actually end up doing a YouTube video about it, but yeah, I'll talk about that in a few. But the anime or the manga is about, it's like a coming of age story, kind of. It's this boy who's like, without spoiling and trying to summarize as much as I can, it's this boy who's basically like finding about his inner self and his inner desires and trying to hide it from he's trying to hide it from his crush because he idolized her in like innocent way, but he has a desire within him, but he doesn't want to show that. But there's another girl in his class that knows about it, so she's trying to get him to like expose that part of himself, and that's where the whole thing goes. Like, it's just finding out who you really like. It's basically something like, it's like taking puberty to the extreme. Like, you're reaching that age and you're starting to see things a certain way, but it's like where it led them to is like a very emotional ride. Like, things really got drastic at one point. But I definitely recommend it. I'm definitely not doing it any justice just summarizing it like that, but I definitely recommend it. But yeah, going into my YouTube video, I ended up doing a whole video basically just talking about it. So if you want to hear me talk about it while spoiling it, you can go on my YouTube. My YouTube is Digital Relaxation, and yeah, I kind of talk about it, and I talk about like the real life consequences of what happens in the anime and how it relates to real life and people, and I guess kind of myself. But yeah, also speaking of YouTube, I recently started doing I'm pretty sure I talked about it in my last episode, but if not, I'll talk about it again. I recently rebooted my Relaxing Thoughts series, as I probably have mentioned before. The Relaxing Thoughts series, before I made a podcast, was something on my YouTube channel where at first it was a gaming Q&A thing where I talked to people and asked them questions about video games while playing video games with them. And then I made the podcast. So the podcast was supposed to be a branch off for that, but with more substance. But obviously things changed, and I'll talk about that soon. But so I decided to reboot the series and actually like follow the point of the name, which is Relaxing Thoughts, where I'm basically doing like ASMR, soft spoken, like positive affirmations and speaking on things in life, and it's just like deep stuff like mental health stuff and things, and I'm just trying to like bring a positive feeling to these dark negative moments in your life. And I gotta say that I've been very, very, very like shocked and happy with the feedback I've been getting. Like, I've been doing like content stuff or entertainment stuff for 10 years max, I want to say. I started doing music in 2011, and everything that led up from there, from my YouTube channels and everything that I've been doing from here to my podcast. This is the first time like I legit gotten people like commenting and giving me feedback on like how they feel about the series and the videos, and it's just been an amazing experience. It really makes me like, because I've been going through like a little, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it a dilemma, but it's like this thought process of finding out what is my true purpose with all of this. And I'm kind of like spoiling the whole podcast because I'm gonna talk about that later. But yeah, but that's mainly that's what I've been up to, and just adjusting to this new pace in my life and whatnot. Trying to get things done. Like I'm like towards the finished goal, towards accomplishing my next step in life. So things are getting kind of like, stuff is picking back up again. Like there was like a little dead time, but now it's picking back up again. So just need to get through this. And yeah. So, but yeah, let's get into this celebration though. Yeah, 1 year podcasting. I mean, I don't have a lot of episodes up, but still, like this been a journey. I feel like it has been quick though as well. Like I had to like check my day out. Like, hold on, I know I started my podcast on October, but when I didn't want to make sure I didn't pass it. So it just so happens to be the day after I upload this episode. So I was able to catch it. But yeah, 1 year podcast, and then I mean it's been a crazy journey. Nothing like over the top. It's been a crazy journey for me, like more internally. Like just how everything came about, like from me not understanding podcasting. Like I didn't understand why people listen to it. I understand why people like it. I understand why people do it. But I ended up giving it a chance, and I started enjoying listening to other podcasts. And then I got inspired to like, no, maybe I could start doing this, but the setbacks happened and things wasn't ready. Took me a few years to actually start up a podcast, which I started my gaming podcast first with my co-host Dodge, but then that eventually stopped, and then I started this podcast a year ago. And yeah, like I said, like when I first started this podcast, it was supposed to be a continuation of my last podcast and the Blast and Thought series, but just more expanded. So talking about video games, talking about anime, you know, all the stuff that I'm just into in life, you know, playing video games, watching anime, watching movies, listening to music. It was just supposed to be stuff like that, talking to my friends or whatever, having guests, just having fun. But as time went on, I don't know, I started getting comfortable podcasting. Like I enjoyed this a lot, and it's like having something that kind of awakens inside of you, and that's what I was talking about with my calling and whatnot. But I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, like a long journey from not really caring about podcasting to doing one for a year straight, and hopefully I will definitely keep doing this. I'll definitely want to keep doing this. I enjoy this a lot. Like it helps me myself a lot, but I'm sure it helps whoever that listens to this as well. But yeah, that's to answer that question as well. Will I keep doing this for another year? Hopefully I'll keep doing this for more years, and hopefully I'll just continue to keep growing and yeah, do something with this. But so let's go into, like, I guess my New Year resolutions. What do I plan to do for my next year of podcasting? Something that I have been saying a lot on like almost every episode, so I'm going to try to be more involved with this, but I do want to have more guests on my podcast. I do want more people to open up and talk about things that maybe I can't speak of, or I don't have the point of view or opinions or perspective to speak on it the way someone else can. So I can only say so much, and I'm not no expert. I'm not no specialist. No, my words isn't the end all be all. I'm only talking about things that the things I think about from my experience and how I view it and how I feel people should go about things. But you don't have to do it. So yeah, that's mainly it. But yeah, more guests definitely. Just trying to be bigger, try to expand, make my podcast grow. I want to try to be more involved with spreading my podcast as well. Like before, I wasn't really like, yeah, I got a podcast, but I would only like post it on the internet or whatever. Then I started talking to people that I work with, like they listen to my podcast or not, just spreading it out there. But yeah, just today I told somebody about my podcast that I was working with. So yeah, who knows where it goes. But yeah, so like going back to what I was saying, like how something awakened in me. Like I said, I was talking about video games when I first started and whatnot, and then I started getting more comfortable with like opening up with myself and whatnot. So like, I guess I kind of have this goal in a sense I want to be someone who can speak for people who feel like they can't speak for themselves, because I know what that feels like. I know what like people telling you who you are or telling other people who you are is like misrepresenting you and whatnot. Like, you are who you are. You can't let nobody else tell you that. Like, even if it's your parents or whatnot. Like, sometimes your parents, like they say, parents don't understand, but not in no like teenager rebellious way. Like, there's things that go on with you internally that no one can understand but yourself. And when people try to like just say things about you that it doesn't add up, it kind of rubs you the wrong way and just puts you in a more dark space. So I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Trying to speak on things from like I said, I will open up with my little what I've been up to. So I still keep that alive. Like I talk about video games and anime and shows and whatnot, but I want the main focus to be about me talking about, mental health, self-acceptance, self-love, self-discovery, just building yourself, being better who you are, all that good stuff, like dealing with any trauma in your life. Yeah. I don't know, like I said, like once I started doing that YouTube thing, and I kind of basically talk about that stuff on a more specific way than my podcast, and people are loving it and enjoying it and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's people, like, always, it's one of those things where it's like, so the best way to think about, I guess, like self-love and whatnot is like when people say, I wish I had a friend like you or whatever, or I wish I had someone like myself, like someone for me, like I wish I had someone like myself when I was going through my stuff. Like I was saying this to people that I know who are going through things. I was like, bro, like, I don't know, I don't want to say you're lucky, but like, it's dope that you got someone like me in your life, because like I've been through it and I came out of it, and I can, I'm here for you to help you get out of it. But I didn't have no one to do that for me. I wish I did. I don't know if I would have listened, because I know it's like that's a stubbornness about you when you in your moment you feel like no one knows you, no one understands you, and whoever tries to help you, you feel like they just trying to like, they trying to sugarcoat life experience. And sometimes you realize that it's the sugarcoating stuff that actually makes sense. Like, it's the end goal, I guess, is very simple. The problem is actually doing it. That's the journey, because that journey at the end of the day, like I said, I can tell you what worked for me. I can tell you how things happen for me. I can tell you how I progress. But at the end of the day, you still have to do it. Even if it works for you or not, but you still have to do that yourself. Like, you have to make those sacrifices. You have to make those change. You have to make those decisions. So that's mainly it. Like, but my thing is, like I'm saying, like saying that I wish I had someone like me at the time, and like, well, technically you do have you. If no one else can't reach you, that's when you have to pull yourself out of it. And most of the time, like I said, that's what it is. That's how you get out of these things. Like, when when you feel there's no one left and there's nothing left, that's when your deep self like really come in and just extend their hand out to yourself. That's what happened to me, basically. Like I said, I wasn't speaking to much people. The person that I was really close to, I stopped talking to them. None of my hobbies I enjoy doing them anymore. I stopped playing video games for a little bit. I stopped playing it heavily. I stopped watching anime. I just stopped. Like, I was just on autopilot at this point, like living my life on autopilot, like doing the same thing. I would go to work, come home from work, sit in my room, just watch YouTube till I go to sleep. And that was it. Like, nothing was enjoyable no more. So it's like I had to cut all of that off and like put myself back at zero again. It was like I had to I had to pull myself out of this if I want to be better. And sometimes something or someone motivate you. Like, there's someone in your life that you look up to or idolize, or someone that motivates you and like want to match them. I want to be on their level. Can't do it being like this, so I need to pull myself out of this and then start making them changes in your life. And then you're gonna start noticing like certain friendships, like once you out of it, then you realize certain friendships kind of like don't feel the same anymore. I talked about this in a previous episode as well. Like, just friends that were good when you were going through your things because they were kind of like your coping mechanism. You was using your friendship with them as a way to like escape. But once you like don't need them for that, and then you realize like they're not really doing nothing else for you in your life, you start to question the relationship. It's like, what exactly are we friends for now? Like, I don't really need you to like keep me happy. I can do that for myself now. So it's like, what are you providing to me as a friend? I guess truly. And that's where like you start distancing yourself from other friends, or they start distancing themselves from you. You start meeting other people, talk to them. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, but it's cool. It's cool. Like I said, I've been talking to some cool people. Talking to people that's just like way like more into themselves, like into like their self-healing and self-loving and whatnot than I ever thought I was. Like, it's amazing. Like, there's people out there like that. There's people out there who can be there for you. But yeah, you just gotta make that change and get yourself out there again. But yeah, like I was saying, like ever since I started getting the feedback and whatnot, I've just been thinking about what is my true purpose with like all the stuff I do with my podcast and whatnot. Like I said, originally I just wanted to just talk about gaming and whatnot and laugh and have fun with people, but I was going through my change as well at the same time, so it's like some of those people don't even either like I said, I'm not close with most of the people like that once was and whatnot, so it's like I don't have a list of people that I did when I originally started this podcast to like go to, so that's the only reason why like my guest list was like short. But I didn't want to start having a lot of guests that were like people that I know because of my subject change, and because I already know their story or I know their thoughts, and so it won't like, yeah, maybe it'll benefit you, but I don't know. I feel like I also want to learn something as well from the experience of talking to someone new, so just want to be a whole big experience for me and the listener, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. This is looking like it's gonna be one of those episodes, nice and short. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just enjoying this ride, man. I'm glad that I took the chance to podcast, and I'm glad for the opportunity that opened up and where it led me and how it got me to start expressing myself more and being out there more publicly. But yeah, that's, I don't know, I want to say that's it, but I don't know, I feel like I just want to keep talking about all the stuff, but I don't want to force it. But yeah, I guess that's that. 1 year podcasting. Hope to see you guys again in another year, and hopefully there's more people that come along to ride with you guys. Yeah. I guess I'll start ending this and wrapping it up. So of course, as usual, my question of the day. So going into my theme of my anniversary, have there been something you guys have started, maybe probably just on a whim, or something you have been planning and you have been going on for like a year or so as well? Like, what is something that you started doing that you end up doing for a long time, even if it's just a side passion or what? And how long do you plan on doing it? And yeah, as always, you guys like this podcast, you like what you heard, you like things I speak about, yeah, please share this podcast. I'm still having a problem. I think maybe that's the problem with like me gaining more listeners, because I originally had this podcast when I tagged it as like video game and whatnot, and even my cover picture, like it got video game and anime reference, but like at this point, I don't know, like I feel like I need to like rebrand it kind of and promote it in different areas that fits the subject. But it's like, I don't know, it's tricky because like I said, because of my what I've been up to segment in the beginning, is like it fits that theme of like I still talk about my anime, my video games if I've been into it. But the main point of the podcast recently is just me talking about my thoughts in a relaxing manner. That's the whole point. But yeah, it's just talking about like all the self-love and confidence and all of that good stuff, and mental health, and why your life matters and why you are important. Of course, don't let no one tell you that you're not important and you don't matter. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed though, and share, rate, and all that good stuff. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. see you guys in the next episode. And yeah, peace.